Say if I'm an engineer in India or Philippines or Taiwan or some other, or even like Ohio, let's say, where the salaries are different than like San Francisco kind of Bay Area salaries. What are some of the things I can do to kind of compete at the same level as like some of the talent in like San Francisco or California to reach like a similar kind of compensation range?
Yeah, so that is such a good question. I'd be curious to know like what that X number is, because I think that like that number that you target changes the strategy that you're going for. So if you expect to make, $100,000 because that's what they're paying Americans, you have to be very sure that the value that you are bringing overcomes additional costs that are either real or imagined. It doesn't even matter. But as long as they are thinking that there are additional costs with you, like you're not going to be able to come in at the same price.
So it's not actually hard to find engineers. Finding engineers is simple, easy. Actually, it's too easy. It's so easy that you have a filtering problem finding quote unquote engineers. It's finding competent engineers who like can work well with others and have like a proven track record of delivering. That's hard. That's hard.
I would throw in communication. Like communication is such a big thing. Yeah.
And trust. And that you already trust too. One problem you're able to solve on the time zone front is just by not having time zones in the first place. What are some other kind of problems you bump into trying to run remote teams that you wish somebody would have just told you, like, oh, just do this, it's a lot easier?
I think time zones add just like a ludicrous amount of latency. Latency is still a problem, and I think embracing the characteristics of remote is important. And so what I mean by that is a lot of companies will sort of start doing remote, and they're going to be used to things that they have in a co-located office. So they're really going to expect like, okay, meeting time, everyone get on Zoom, and then like approximate what they would do in person. And I think one of the strongest things that remote has going for it is asynchronous communication and having it be written. So writing has huge benefits to clear communication. It's before that message is sent, you can make sure, does it answer their question? Does it answer it well? You kind of alluded to this when you were like thinking about your engineer brain and making sure all the contingencies were passed on to somebody. That's incredibly helpful in any system that has latency because you're trying to minimize the number of round trips. If everything is written in text, they can get caught up much more quickly. So there's huge advantages to leaning on written communication. And I think a lot of companies that are not used to remote are going to default to things that approximate co-located behavior, and it's going to hurt them. I feel like actually one of the things that people miss in a remote environment, like, is that chatty, friendly culture. And I think if somebody was super active in Slack and like getting people into conversations and creating a pretty welcoming atmosphere, I think that would go a long way with me. I think they would have to produce less if they were doing that well.
Actually, if you're just here's the real secret: if you're just friendly, no, you can do whatever.
But if you add energy to people and you increase morale, like, people are going to keep you around.
Yeah, like I think the best example is I'm a keyboard player in my band back in LA. Now he's doing like he's running a website that's selling online courses, but he's not an engineer. He's more on the marketing side. And like me and him just like each other. And so when he calls me and says like, James, do you know anything about JavaScript? I'm like, yeah. And then we get in a call and the whole file's in PHP. And I say, wait, this is PHP. And he says, please, can you just help me? Like, everything's just broken. Because we have that rapport and that relationship, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's
totally.
funny. Whatever. Let's go.
That would be really expensive for people who you don't like.
Oh, yeah.
That would be way more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.